digital transformation going to be the proverbial phoenix that brings about change in the insurance sector? Currently, insurance penetration is still low. What impact will digital transformation have on this industry? I'm Regina Manyara, and taking us through this conversation is none other than the head of digital at Resolution Insurance. Karibu, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. When we decided to set up a digital role in Resolution, that was one of the key problems we were going to solve. And it's important for me to set that into perspective. When we say the insurance penetration in Kenya is at 2.7%, we actually look at insurance premiums as a fraction of the GDP. So it has nothing to do with the population or the number of people who are covered. It's how much premiums are paid as a fraction of the total GDP. That's at 2.7%. So when we say that, it means that it points to the products, it points to the premiums that we pay. In my own personal opinion, insurance has not yet been appreciated by the citizens of Kenya. It is very important for insurance companies, for the regulator, for the Association of Kenya Insurance to emphatically make it clear to Kenyans that when you work so hard, the best way to protect what you value, protect what you've worked for so hard, is by getting insurance. So that in the event of a calamity, then you don't go down with the calamity. After the calamity, you should still come up successfully. So we have more work to do around innovation of products that rhyme with Kenyans. We also have more work to do around innovation on digital transformation so that we can ease the delivery of the product to the consumer and even the process of consuming the product.
How will digital transformation define or rather shape the insurance industry currently and also just looking into the future?
So you will realize that the insurance customer is also the banking customer. Is also the customer who uses Uber. Is also the customer who listens or checks out news on Twitter and online. So our customer is already a digital-ready customer. This customer is having a digital experience when they are banking, when they are transacting, when they are, keeping tabs with what's happening around the globe. So the gap that's now missing is on the insurance side. And the role of digital transformation on insurance really should be around three main pillars. One, on the side of the insurance company, is to reduce the costs of operations. That's the efficiency. That's number one. And then number two is to enhance the customer experience in such a way that customers will be able to experience omni-channel services seamlessly. And for the customer, they are looking at speed, precision, and convenience. So the role of digital transformation in Kenya for now is to increase the level of customer service, improve the speed and transparency to the customer, and of course to reduce on the use of papers.
Insurance relations are very interpersonal. What would be the challenges of adopting technology within the industry?
Now, the challenge that comes with adopting the digital technologies and all of that is the element of the human interaction at the face-to-face. Technology has no empathy. It has no feelings and an emotional connection. It's a thing of, I have a need and I sort out the need. But the human is an emotional being. So the next challenge for digital transformation, and believe me, it's possible, is how to bring the element of empathy and emotion and an emotional connection with the customers. That's going to take a long time. And before we get there, the new emerging trend now is that in terms of the new roles that we are likely to see are the roles of relationship. So the technology will fit the customer's needs, but we will still need the human to maintain the relationship element.
Fraud has been quite a challenge that the industry has been tackling over the years. How will adoption of a digital transformation impact on this?
Whatever we do needs to increase our position in terms of profitability. And when we look at that spectrum, what affects the profitability after we receive the premium? The element of fraud there. We say it's fraudulent if you claim and you should not have claimed. If you claim and indeed it was not a risk, insurance is against a risk, something that is likely to happen, not something that has to happen. If it has to happen, then it's not insurable. Maybe we can say that's assurance. So what we are looking at is those sectors that are greatly impacted by fraud. That's mainly motor insurance, health insurance, and an emerging one now is the home insurance because of the element of jewelry, things like electronics, the phones, things like that. So what we are looking to do, especially with the motor insurance, is integrating and working with partners. So working with partners to help us, what are the driving habits of customers, and at least even to verify that the vehicles exist and they have been valued and they are in a good condition. So one of the solutions we are launching soon is one where when you come in and put in your vehicle details, we send over your information to a valuing company, a valuing partner. They link up with you, they come to where you are, take photos of your car and value your car, and then you come back and you could proceed with the journey of the purchase. That's number one. Then number two, we are using a lot of analytics. Gives us trends and helps us to create hypotheses, and we use that data to answer the hypothesis.
What current innovations are out there, that were not previously used within the insurance industry? If we just went back 10 years back.
You will not fail to hear of this term conference that you go to. One of those terms is artificial intelligence. That's what they're calling AI. And others have come up with something new they're referring to as IA, intelligent automation. I'll talk about all of this. We've heard about robotic process automation. We've heard about chatbots. We've heard about mobile apps and portals, just to mention but a few, and data analytics. So how does all of this come together, and what do those trends mean for the insurance company? So I want to put it this way and say the insurance companies and any business that's looking to digitize needs to collect as much information as possible. The more the data you have about an individual, what we are referring to as data points, the higher the probability that you're going to predict almost accurately about the choices that individual is going to make.
We find that insurance, insurance and those people who take up insurance are domiciled within the urban centers and peri-urban centers. How will the adoption of digital transformation widen the scope?
Previously, 10 years ago actually, is when we would actually say that an insurance company had to have a branch in order to sell. And it was branch and telephones. And now we are finding that we have got portals where customers can go. They can even compare. We have seen portals where customers, which are being run by brokerage companies, customers can go in, put in their details and get a quote from like 5-6 different insurance companies, and they choose the one they like. So customers now are beginning to appreciate choice. They're beginning to appreciate the difference of one insurance company over the other in terms of service, and not just based on price differentiation. We are seeing elements, introduction of WhatsApp for business. Who thought that an insurance company would receive a customer query WhatsApp platform? It's already happening now. Who thought that a customer would go somewhere, make a payment, and take a photo of their slip and send it to the company, and the company will use an intelligent engine behind the scenes, read the receipt and post that information. We are finding innovations around payment. Payments, previously customers would have to go and they would only pay from a bank. Now customers can pay their premiums through the insurance. We are also finding insurance companies now tokenizing payment. Now the product innovation. We are using digital transformation to even determine what the customer wants. And what's emerging is now what you are saying now. Customers have a huge potential within the agricultural sector that is not covered. And that's micro insurance and agriculture insurance. We've got few insurance companies which are covering that now. And the role of digital transformation here really is partnership, because we are venturing into an unknown area. We need to partner with people, with the farmers themselves, with the people, with the meteorological departments, so that we can have the skill of underwriting these kinds of risks.
One of the main reasons why Kenyans do not take up insurance is the issue of affordability. What is your take on micro-insurance?
There are some pertinent questions to ask for ourselves. Does the person who doesn't have insurance now need insurance? The answer to that question is yes. Does the person who doesn't have insurance now, can they afford insurance as it is now? The answer is no. So you can see the gap over there is a gap to do with the customer needs the insurance, but they cannot afford it. How do we come up with products that are affordable and profitable to the insurance company? When we bridge that gap, then we will begin to see an uptick.
In light of the current COVID-19 disruptions, how has COVID-19 affected the way of doing business within the insurance industry?
Lower premium products, that's number one. So of course that affects our revenues. Number two, we have seen customers opting for staggered payment options as opposed to cash and carry options. That has had an impact on our liquidity and cash flow positions. Now, but we have also seen, due to the reduced economic activities, because you see, insurance is operating within a macroeconomic environment. So meaning that when the other aspects of the economy are operating, then insurance is thriving. When the other aspects of the economy are now downsizing, then by extension, insurance also gets affected. So we have seen reduced movements. We have seen people taking measures. So generally, the number of claims are reducing. So our highest claims come from health and motor insurance. So there are not so many motor accidents happening right now because there are not so many people traveling. Traveling has been restricted, and restriction has actually affected the economic centers of the country, Mombasa, for example, and Nairobi. So the accidents are not really happening, and the claims consequently are reduced. And I talked about the hygiene matters that the citizens are now adhering to, reducing the element of claims. So the claims are also reducing.
Because what I'm hearing from your end is that in one way or another, in hindsight, the issue and the measures put in place by government have, in one way or another, ensured, a reduction in claims, and this means good business for you.
Okay, we are looking forward to it because, you see, it has come with two sides. The claims are reducing, but the rate at which premium is flowing in is also reducing significantly. So we also cannot wait for the economy to open. But for us is, how do we continue influencing the customer to continue with those aspects that resulted to low claims? And not really low claims, but resulted to them being more healthy and then staying away from accidents. Yeah. One of the other measures which I also did not mention is that the restriction of opening on entertainment joints also has had a great impact in terms of the infections and the accidents. A lot of people probably enjoy themselves at home with their families without exposing themselves to the risks of having to drive under the influence, and without exposing themselves to infections which they could catch up from the entertainment joints. So on one hand, COVID has had some positive impacts, but overall, we are better off with the economy opened up than when it's closed down.
How is the industry reshaping itself in terms of its products and service delivery during COVID-19?
Were it not for COVID, would have taken, I don't know, perhaps even more than 1 year, because we would have said we need to do research, consult, we need to get a consultant before we can make it. But COVID showed up, and immediately we all have to work from home. That means that our claims are flowing from the hospital systems directly into our medical insurance systems, and that reduces logistics. Remember, previously we had to ferry papers from hospitals in as far as Mandera, Mombasa, bring them all the way to Nairobi, and then process those claims. So now, through the integration, the claims just flow seamlessly. We process the payment and we do an EFT.
What does the future hold for the insurance sector?
The best thing about COVID, and in reference to digital transformation, is that previously the amount of heavy lifting that would have had to be done for customers to adopt digital solutions, that heavy lifting has been taken away by COVID, because if you don't have a digital solution, your customer is waiting for it, and they want it, and they want it right now. If you get it right now, then you have been saved the trouble of having to convince your customer to use it. That's one. And we are looking now to extend that post-COVID so that it becomes the new norm. If we have been able to integrate our systems with hospitals and claims are flowing here without planning logistics, we're not going to change that. The important thing to note is that whatever companies have done during COVID to survive, they are not going to undo that post-COVID. They're going to continue with that because it brings the advantages.
Thank you for your time. There you've had at Resolution Insurance at Francis Ngare challenging companies to just learn at the speed of the crisis. These uncertainties brought about by COVID-19 have seen the insurance sector, like many others, redefine themselves, leveraging on digital technology to improve customer experience as well as service delivery. In future, digital is the way to go. This inroads that we have made are not just going to end here post-COVID-19. I'm Regina Manyara. You're watching KBC Channel 1 Business.